Alright. So this is how do I get to it? Yeah. This is what's happening right now in Korea MapleStory test server. I'm gonna go over this whole thing one more time. Right. So I want to be clear that these changes are pretty much not game changing, but game murdering and killing, especially for Reboot and especially for GMS as a whole. Okay? It's not going to stop me from getting level 300. These changes are most likely, if they were to come to GMS, come out during the summer update or the fall update after our summer update. Okay? So this basically new potential system. Cubes aren't going to be sold for Meso in both servers. So you scroll down, you think, okay, cool. Basically, there's going to be a UI. How much is it going to cost? This is how much it's going to cost. Now, if you're looking at these prices, this is for a black cube. There's no more red cubes. There's no more red cubes. There's no more cold cubes. There's no more Meso cubes, all that. It's black cube and black cube only. And if you look at these prices, if you're a GMS non-reboot player, you see these prices and you're thinking, this is actually good, right? These prices. However, if you're a reboot, you look at these prices, this is like a 2x nerf to a black cube and a 3x nerf to a red cube. Right now for a black cube, I think I pay legitimately close to like 300 million for one black cube right now. If I were to buy maple points. Right, like 2.2k maple points is roughly about 300 million, right? It's a huge buff to GMS non-reboot with these prices. However, of course there's more to it, and then there's a price for bonus cube, which again is also a huge buff. So you might be thinking, why is it bad? How could that possibly kill the game? That's a huge buff to non-reboot, which is what we've been asking for. It's, you know, a 2x to 3x nerf in Reboot, which is pretty massive. But it gets even worse than a 2 to 3x nerf to cubing in Reboot. It gets even worse. This right here, like, you can roll like 3-line boss. Who cares about this? Nobody cares about that. Literally nobody. This right here is the biggest problem I've ever seen in any video game ever. Right. They're limiting the amount of Meso that you can farm per day. And you might be thinking, I want everybody to be on the same page here. You might be thinking, I don't farm that much. It doesn't affect me that much. It's not a big deal. It is. You have to just step back and think about the game as a whole and the community as a whole for once. Because I'm not kidding and I'm not saying this lightly. This will kill GMS. It will kill it. It will destroy the game. So basically, you can only farm 150 mil base Meso. So whatever 150 mil, multiply that by your Meso obtain, and that's the total amount you get. And then every 5 levels past 260, you get 10 mil added on. So at level 300, you get, that's 40 levels, that's 80 extra mil base. So you're looking at 230 million base Meso. For me, I have 174 Meso obtained, so if we round that up to 200%, you're looking at like 230. You're looking at like, I don't know, 460 mil Meso or something, right? or something like that. I don't know exactly. It's extremely bad. That would take me an hour and a half to farm that with Frenzy. Without Frenzy, you multiply that by roughly 3. So you're limited to 4.5 hours of farming without Frenzy. And I get it. That's a lot of time to farm on this game for most people. I get it. It is. But you have to understand that most players don't like the idea of capping, and a lot of players do far more than that. So because it doesn't affect you, doesn't mean it's overall bad for the game, and you have to sit back and look at the bigger picture. Players are going to stop playing. There's going to be even less crap in the GMS auction house. Nobody's going to want a cube because people, believe it or not, there are whales who just spend without no limit. They don't care how much it costs. The amount of cubes that you're going to have to, like the amount that cubes are going to cost with this, because the Meso market is going to go down the drain, right? It's going to cost you like several dollars more for one black cube reroll. So everybody hurts from this. People who spend, they have to spend more per cube. People who farm, they don't get to farm as much as they want, and they get less per day. And this is only cubes. What about the Star Force system? What about this? What about that? It's horrible. Like, time gating is a part of this game. Yes, I get it. But you can't time gate the main aspect of the game. You can't. When you have a game's main aspect, farming, you can't cap people to the amount that they can farm. It makes no sense. It makes no sense. Why should somebody who farms 1.5 hours with Frenzy get the same amount as somebody who does 4 hours? That's only 2 wealth potions, right? Why should somebody who only farms 4.5 hours get the same as some guy who does 10 plus hours every day? It makes no sense, and it's stupid, and it's bad. It's terrible. Nobody wants this to come. Nobody wants the Meso cap to come. I don't want the Meso cap to come. Reboot players don't want the Meso cap to come. The people who like this are not in GMS. They're not in GMS. Whoever likes this, they're not in GMS. They don't understand GMS. So please try to understand, like, you might not think it directly affects you. And it might not. But it will indirectly affect you later on when people start dropping the game and you'll see that there's nothing. Do you want to end up like some of those extremely dead games? I've seen what happened in RuneScape 3. It's sad. And I don't want to see this happen. Right? If this, I'll say right now, if this gets implemented as is and there's a Meso cap, I will level up to 300 as I do. I will not play. I want to min-max my character. I'm at the point now where min-maxing my character costs a lot of Meso. A lot. This will make it completely unrealistic. And no, I'm not just saying that because I farm all day, every day, blah, blah, blah. This change, the Meso cap change, right up there, that farming change, actually won't affect me after 300. It'll be very rare where I train for more than an hour and a half after 300 farming. There will probably be days where I do farm more than that, but it will be very rare. So it won't really impact me. It won't. I'll just get my Mesos slowly from bosses and lucky boss drops. But that doesn't mean it's a bad change. I'll get screwed over. What do I do with all those boss drops if nobody's playing? Nobody's going to buy them. What do I do when I'm trying to find like a chaos or extreme party and there's 5 people left on the server? I can't. There are some bosses that you can't solo. There are some things that don't work when there's even less players than there already are. It can't happen to GMS. It can't. It will ruin the whole idea of what MapleStory has always been. You farm and you prosper. This is absolute garbage. and nobody wants to play it, including me. Right? So this cannot happen. I don't care if it affects you or not. It will, one way or another, down the line. Do not try and justify it. Do not try and say, oh, they're going to add more ways, blah, 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 to earn Meso. Nobody wants this. You're still going to have to farm a lot for levels. You're still going to have to farm fragments. You're still going to have to farm. One way or another, this will come back around and bite you. So don't try to justify it. It's no cap or bust. There's no justifying a cap in this game for anything. I don't care if they make it some unrealistic cap that you can't get for 24 billion hours of farming. No cap. That's how it is. Now, everybody should be on that same page. This is how we keep getting bodied, right? Keep getting bodied because, oh, it's not that bad because it's bad. Straight up, period. Now, this is where it gets even worse, right? I'm not even a Reboot player. I'll be honest. Like, whatever happens in Reboot just doesn't really impact me because I don't play the server. But I can see that GMS, a majority of the players, are Reboots. That's how it is. That's how it will be until GMS is done. It will always be that way. And I'll be honest, a lot of people in the Reboot community shit on me, shit on non-Reboot. They shit all over us. But you know what? I don't care because I've been playing Reboot style for years and I get to reap the benefits that I have in non-Reboot for putting in all those extra hours. I'm way stronger, way more powerful than I could ever hope to get in Reboot, right? And I don't care if you want to throw me in with all those people who pay to win. You want to throw me under the bus. You want to call me this, call me that. Private server player this, private server. I don't care. I'm willing to look past all that because I'm not blind and I can see what is good for the greater good for GMS. And Reboot needs to live and needs to prosper if GMS is going to survive. It's that plain. It's that simple. That's how it is. And whatever happens over there doesn't impact me. Yet I will stand up and I'll fight for it. Because I want GMS to prosper as a whole, right? I like a lot of the people I've met through the streaming thing on Reboot. I like the people I've met, right? I don't want them to suffer. I don't want people to freaking doomsday quit all over, right? That's not what I'm about. I want the game to prosper. It would be fun. Like, I know I said it a million times, I don't care about being ranked 1. But you know what? It would be cool to be the top player of a game that's alive and prosper. It would feel cool. You want to know what would feel lame? Is being top player of a game that is dead, that nobody cares about. Oh, you're top player of that game? Like, I guess. Right? So, yes. Whatever happens to Reboot doesn't impact me. Yes, it doesn't matter to me. But it matters to GMS as a whole. And it needs to live. So, you know, you have to just look aside from all that. Right? And at the same time, you know, if you're a Reboot, just, you know, back up. Stop calling the non-Reboot players all these names, because I'll tell you right now, from what I've seen and what I read, a lot of non-Reboot players, they're not going to back you up if you keep calling them and throwing them under the bus. They're not. Right? That's how Reboot got into the situation in KMS, because Reboot was getting thrown under the bus. So it goes both ways. Like, right? Not everybody's going to be willing to look past that. I will, though. I can tank it. I'm not a baby. Right, so basically, Reboot's Meso is getting changed to non-Reboot, right? So why would you play Reboot? Because you're just playing the non-Reboot server with no trading and no Meso market and no auction house. It makes no sense. Right? I mean, you still have the final damage. You don't have to worry about bonus pot, blah 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 blah. Whatever. I don't care about that. This can't happen to GMS. It will be a disaster. Right? It can't happen, and it shouldn't happen. Whether it will happen or not, I can't say for certain. It does seem like it's on the side that it will, because, you know, that's just kind of how GMS has always been. But I'm going to say this. I personally don't believe anything that Nexon says. It's hard to trust them. It is. It probably always will be. But they made this statement here. And this, I'm going to say right now, is GMS's last chance to finally make things right. As you already know, MapleStory is operated as a separate service in different regions. We understand that you are always wondering if the contents of other services will affect GMS. Similar to other regions, GMS is a unique and independent service with a distinct player base. During our planning process for the game, each update we consider the existing unique specifications of GMS and play patterns and preference of our players. I don't believe them on this. I want to, but things keep getting blindly ported over to GMS. That shouldn't have. The 2.3x from Reboot, the double Golux pennant set effect, the freaking drop changes, you know, the legacy best in slot gear not returning, the freaking ghost ship badge, all this stuff. History repeats itself with this always. But this is bigger and more massive than any of that, all of that combined. All of it. This is GMS's last chance. If this just gets blindly ported over like everything else that's bad for GMS, maybe the KMS players are happy about it. The KMS Reboot players are not. Maybe the KMS non-Reboot players are. I don't care. I don't play that server. It doesn't matter to me, right? I don't want them to be miserable. I don't want that server to suck. But this is GMS's chance and final chance to make things right. I'll believe this statement if they do this right. GMS has so much respect to gain if they can pull this off. Because I'm telling you, it's not game changing, it's game murdering. Okay? It's your last chance, GMS. Make it count. Do the right thing. Do not nerf Reboot to that. Do not cap the amount of Mesos we can farm. We are not KMS. We are GMS. Last chance. Make it right. And that's basically what's happening. And I hope that the right thing happens.